The beauty of one of these systems is they're made to be easy. Over here, we've got our Easy Clone setup. This is the 128 site low profile white Easy Clone unit. I absolutely love these. I've been using them for way over a decade at this point, and I've seen everything from really awesome results to insane results out of one of these things. Especially, it's changed the game for me for sprouting seeds, because I get to do it in these Propagator Pro plugs that I get to pre-soak with maybe a little bit heavier nutrient than is in here that they get sprayed with, gradually leaching out some of that nutrient, making sure that that seed has initial fertilization, but also being able to fine tune the fertilization level through the aeroponic reservoir and spray system. The beauty of one of these systems is they're made to be easy. So when you're mixing a nutrient for the reservoir or for the plugs, I always recommend grabbing a basic pre-mix bucket, throwing some hot water in there, especially for an aeroponic system, because you're using most of the time synthetic nutrients. Some of these synthetic nutrients look like powders like this. This is A and B powdered base nutrient system. Actually, some top secret nutrients that might be coming out via the Key to Life Supply nutrient team. But we take this hot water and we actually add some of those crystals, some of which can be even a little bit hard in the bag. Don't be afraid to take your metal, especially measuring cup, and beat those crystals up a little bit. The smaller the particle becomes, the faster it solubilizes. With some base nutrients, it really matters which nutrient you add first. This depends on your water supply. If your water supply is calcium heavy, then you're gonna wanna add your magnesium dominant nutrients first, then probably your calcium-based nutrients. But once again, I could be wrong, because it all depends on the water that you have. Each city, county, and state has completely different water. With knowing what I know here, I've always followed the rule of thumb of letting our salt crystals from our synthetic nutrients, especially powdered or crystal-based nutrients, fully solubilize in the water, check the pH and ppm levels, and then add the B compound accordingly. Especially in this case, our A nutrient is a 16-0-12 and our B nutrient is a 6-30-30. One of these nutrients has a lot of phosphorus and potassium, and one has all the nitrogen. This is really important for us to know as we're mixing these salt-based compounds. So I'm gonna check this solution, and this is really low in pH right now, 2.3, and probably a skyrocket level ppm, 8.2 EC. Way too hot. If you feed this to your plugs, your seeds are probably gonna sprout, and then the root is gonna immediately burn. In this scenario, this is where I love to use these measuring cup containers. You take this nutrient, and now you've been able to split it in two. You add more water to this one, adjusting it to the level that you want it. All right, we've got this baby dialed in. We've got a target of a 5.7 pH and an EC or ppm of 1340, 1340. This is still a pretty low EC or microsiemens level at 1.8. Generally, topping soil is about 1.5 to 3.0 for the cheap stuff. And as you get the more nutrient loaded soils, it can be 3, 4, 5, and even 6.0 EC for really highly amended soil. This is a pretty weak solution, but I'm gonna run with it. This is a great spot to start our plugs and our seedlings. I highly recommend a target range of right around here for your base nutrient mix to soak your Propagator Pro plugs for the Easy Clone system. 1.8 EC, 5.7 pH, and about 1340 ppm. These plugs are a year old and they are perfect. And you can see right off the bat, they just soak up that water. And now these are primed and soaked with a little bit extra nutrient. But does it matter? That's what we're gonna find out. We're gonna toss these plugs in the other half of the Easy Cloner and allow the reservoir nutrient to supercharge these with nutrients, water, and adjust the pH range. Is there a difference? Well, we're gonna check it out, and this is why we've created Backyard Farming Academy, as well as things like this led to us creating Key to Life Nutrients and Backyard Farming Supply. So go throw us some love for the decade plus of hard work we put in to bring these pro tips to you guys so you guys can skip all the hard steps. Another pro tip is your good old PVC stirrer. Just being able to stir up your reservoir, making sure that all your nutrients are nice and solubilized, mixed up, so that way you can check your pH and ppm levels. So we're checking the pH of the water in our Easy Clone is 3.5. I added a little bit too much nutrients. This is a pretty common problem that a lot of growers run into in a system like this, and they think, what do I do? Well, we're gonna show you. Prop your meter into a spot where you can monitor one of the two numbers. Usually, pH is a really good one to watch. Well, how do we correct it? First, we gotta get some of this nutrient solution out of here. So I intentionally did this to give you guys the run through on what you do to make sure you're running the right pH and ppm as well as EC in your system. There is a drain over on this side of the Easy Clone, and this is really nice. Just pop that and boom, it flows into the bucket. You got a drain bucket on hand, the door right out there, bada bing, bada boom, life easy. Stay tuned or go check out the Easy Clone video for what I do with those to automate this process. But hey, in the beginning of the season, you gotta start somewhere. And we're actually way too high on this water, which is usually every time, especially at the beginning of the year, and I'm refiguring out my nutrients for these Easy Clones, I put way too much water into it. Why? It gives me the ability, if I over pH or over nutrify the water, that I can easily remove some, add fresh water, which is much easier than adding a whole bunch of water in the first place. Obviously, in a perfect world, you nail it perfect on the pH, ppm, and EC, which is why you're watching this video, so that you can get the perfect measurements and pro tips to avoid wasting nutrient solution and or water. If you guys want one of these bad boys in your garden, make sure you go enter the Seeds of Abundance giveaway. Put in your comments down below what you like to start your ppms and pH in an Easy Clone seed starting Propagator Pro plug system. We'll see you next time.